preparing. Hey guys, sorry about that. I guess we cut out, and Christian's on my Christian. Can you see it? There we go. All right, so we are live again, and Christian, I'll see you later. Thanks a lot. Having some technical difficulties. All right, we aren't immune. So that was really weird. Somehow that cut out. All right, where am I? Let me get set back up. Okay, so thanks for hopping back on. If you are, guys, I apologize for that. Yeah, that was really weird. We cut out. So, anyways, let's get back to it. I wanted to. There we are. We're going through the questions that we are getting on the channel. Sorry, I'm having to like switch a bunch of stuff around on my screens here. Okay, now that I've got that going, I can share again. Okay, we're back in business. Thanks for hanging in there, folks. Appreciate it. So that's why we love you. I was getting into skip tracing, I believe, and I don't really know where I left off, but I just want you guys to know. I think you guys heard, like, if you've got a couple of skip tracing platforms that you're like trying to figure out what is better or which one you want to go with. If you're doing a texting campaign, and for us, that's like 95 or more % of what we do, then you're going to want to know, like, the skip tracer that I'm using is going to give me more wireless numbers than any of the other ones. And that's what Best Skip Tracer does. And I think I went over the statistic that I went over was how many wireless numbers a Best Skip Tracer gives out versus other platforms. And most of the other platforms are giving about 40 to 50% wireless numbers. And that means if you got a list of 10,000, you can only really text market to 4,000 to 5,000 of those, severely decreasing the number that you've already paid for in data and skip trace. So you're cutting yourselves off at the knees at that point, because you're severely limiting the number of people that you can market to. Best Skip Tracer is about 70%, hovering around there. And that's, obviously 20 to 30% more than. Oh, I am sharing the wrong screen. Guys, I am a mess. Here we are. That kind of explains why it's going into man. Okay. So you guys understand now, like, if you're skip tracing, you just really got to work with the end in mind. What type of marketing am I doing? Am I doing text messaging? Am I going to follow Real Estate Investing Made Easy and do the text messaging route? If that's the case, then I'm going to go with a skip tracer that gives me more wireless numbers. I mean, it's not really that simple. Not only that, hit rate is really good as well. It's a very high hit rate. And so we're able to actually get the right numbers. So it's not just about getting numbers, it's getting the right numbers. Now, Best Skip Tracer is, well, let me go back. Like, a lot of people, you'll have people, VAs, whoever they are, saying, I can get it for 2 cents a skip, 3 cents a skip. And you hear that and you're like, wow, that's really low compared to like 8, 10, 15 cents a skip. Okay. But you really get what you pay for, because what's going to happen is you're going to have to re-skip trace that data when it's not correct. You have a low hit rate, low deliverability rate, wrong number rate is through the roof, and you're having to re-skip trace those and then remarket to those. So at the end of the day, you're really paying more for bad data and bad skips. So there's an equilibrium you meet, right, by not paying 20 cents a skip, but also getting good data. And Best Skip Tracer does a really good job of that. So they actually have a paid version. You pay, I think it's $99 a month, which will drop the skip tracing rate from 20 to 8 cents a skip. And that savings is almost instant if you're doing anything at volume. And so that's who we use. That's who we recommend. They're a great skip tracing company. They give really good data. and we're able to do really well with them. So I hope that wasn't too drawn out, guys. And I'm sorry we had some technical difficulties there getting started. So yeah, that's who we use. Schedule a call with us, Jay. We'd love to see you. All right. Next, we have Privy. Okay. All right. Hey, appreciate it, Scott. Thanks so much. Yeah, I really appreciate the kind words, guys. We love seeing that we are bringing value to you. I mean, really, the whole reason we do this is so we can bring free value to newer investors and investors that have been in the game for a while but need, some different, newer ways to do things. So, okay. All right. Josh B on the Privy video. This is a great video. Dan goes through his process on how to get bulk emails out. He says, thanks for the video. I have a question. Is there a risk of the emails going to the spam folder due to the large volume of similar emails being sent out? I haven't had that problem. We have about an 80% response rate with the mail merge software that we use. We don't have an affiliate. They don't have an affiliate program, so we don't get paid to push them, but we do use them. I really like them. That's Mail Meteor, Meteor. We will put a link in the chat or in the description so you guys can, go to that. But no, there is no, I haven't felt any repercussions of massive amounts of these emails going into the spam folder. I think because they're all going to different emails. There is no trigger on those emails that any mass emailing is done. That and I mean, everything's relative, right? But in the grand scheme of things, the amount of offers that we send out at one time in one campaign is not like enough to really trigger any type of like spam response. And again, we haven't really felt that. I think an 80% response, 70% response rate from the emails at some point or another in the follow-up sequence is pretty high. So nope, I don't think we've had any issues with that. Mail Meteor, you guys go to that. There are other mail merge sites. This is the one we've been using. Okay. There's a core. Roll that one. All right. Okay. All right. Just reading some of the responses. Okay. Let's see here. Got my list of leads from PropWire, but not getting any other information such as phone number, emails. Not sure if I have this to skip trace the leads from PropWire. Okay. Rafay Hussein. Yeah. So guys, just so you guys understand like the process of getting data to like marketable data, like raw data to marketable data. You're going to have there's a couple steps. The first step is the list pull itself. Okay. So you're going to be extracting homeowner information. That's name and address. Okay. But that's all you're going to get from, I mean, as far as like in the contact information, side of things, the only thing that you're going to get is their name and their address. So if you want a phone number or an email, you're going to have to skip trace that. That's the second step in the chain of events that's going to happen when you're bringing that raw data to marketable data, because obviously you need an email. So no, when you're doing list pulling, you're only pulling like think of it like going to the county and pulling homeowner like property tax record information. That's not going to have a phone number or an email on it. The skip trace does their magic, internet magic to pull that information from other places, and so you're going to need to do that if you need an email or a phone number. So hope that helps. Rafael Hussein, thanks for that question. Okay, you have two different ways to do this on your channel. They're both great. Which one would you say? Okay, this is an awesome. I would almost say this is like almost teed up too well, but yeah, this is great. You have two different ways to do this on your channel, and they're both great. And this is talking about the Privy systems. Which one would you say we should probably follow that's given you the best results? VW, great question. So there's the video that she's commenting on is the 300,000 a month. This should be illegal privy walkthrough. That's Dan's walkthrough. Dan Kaczynski is a partner we have in Florida, and he had kind of done a similar version. It's not quite the same as what I do. And so, I mean, it's going to be a biased answer because it's my system. But I would say that the way that Dan does it is great, and it's a really, really awesome way. Either one is great. It's like kind of like Chevy or Ford. It's like, it's very much preferential. For us, though, we've gotten the best results, and I think it's the most efficient way while also being able to scale is the way that I do it. And you can look at those. I have a whole training series on Privy that has, I think there's 5 or 6 parts in that series. But you're able to get through a large amount of properties without having to do the extra work of pulling that information on properties that you're not ever going to put an offer in. So the way that we do things is opposite. If you watch that video, you'll see Dan pulls the lists, gets all the information, gets the contact info, does all the numbers for the offers, and then he goes down the list to each property to determine if he's going to put an offer on it or not based on its condition. And that's just opposite the way I do it. The way I do it is I'm going to build my list in Privy, and then I'm going to scan that list and do what we call our soft comping process, which basically just goes really quickly down this list of, however many are in there, and determines before I do any of the extra work on it, am I going to put an offer on this property or not? And if I am, based on its condition, if there's some value add opportunity, then great. Now I'm going to do the work on the back end to pull the information I need for the realtor, the contact info, all of that, determining an offer price, things like that. So the way that I do it is you're able to scale, you're able to get a lot of offers out in a very short amount of time. And it also cuts down on any of the extra work that you're going to have to do on the back end, or I should say on the front end, properties that you're going to disqualify on the back end anyway. So both good. As I do is a little more efficient. Okay, and same user here, VDub asks, how many hours? I hope these are helping, guys. If you have any questions, put in the chat. And I am seeing a live one here. It says, Gio Rodriguez, dude, thanks for hopping on, man. Do you have a course? And I say, yeah, I would say we do have courses. It just depends. I guess I didn't catch this at the time that you were you had put that out. So if you want to, while I'm going through this, just kind of clarify what, like for what you're talking about. But we do have courses, and we'll be rolling those out soon. Just stay tuned for that. But we do have an opportunity to hop on with us. If you want to just walk through something, we'll do that. Our calendar will be in the link. And but stay tuned for obviously the advanced courses, because those will be rolling out soon. They're not available yet, but they will be very, very soon. I would say that's for more of the advanced stuff. But obviously our whole YouTube is a basic course on everything that we are doing. So I was actually talking to a REI client who's a REI client now. She had gotten our information from YouTube, hopped on Calendly, and we were able to set up her launch control in the forefront so that she can accurately prospect and efficiently prospect for leads, and then manage those leads to the finish in the same way that we do it every day. But when we were talking, we were she had mentioned doing a lot of work with and spending a ton of money on gurus who actually just left her hanging, and if we're really being honest, scammed her out of a ton of money. Comment in the chat if that's ever happened to you. We don't have to blast our names or anything. I mean, obviously, if you want to kind of steer people away, you can let us know, but and just tell us kind of what happened. But she had mentioned that during COVID, she had to pause. She had some stuff going on. Obviously, it was during COVID, and she had some deaths in the family, couple deaths. It was kind of tragic. that she had to take care of. And so she wasn't able to just like continue on. So they told her she could pause, any of her training or her one-on-ones and things like that. And when she picked back up a couple of months later or tried to, they said they have no recollection of the of her ever being a client. She would have to pay another 15 grand. So I say all that to say, a lot of the gurus out there are pushing a lot of affiliates, and they're pushing a lot of content, and they're pushing a lot of information. And it very well may be that it is good info. But at the end of the day, what we do on our channel for free is give you actionable, practical application of tools, systems, and processes that we use on a daily basis. So it's actually me and Christian were talking about it because we are going to be pushing out these courses. And so the difference between what we do and what other people are doing is like, you ever remember in school when you had or college, let's say you have a theory of mathematics, right? So we're going to be getting into the kind of the ethereal concepts behind mathematics, and that's all great because it does give you a better fundamental understanding of mathematics as a whole. But then you also, like, remember in high school you had like ROP classes? You could take like ROP accounting, which was very targeted and practical training. And that's really what we do, is we're like the ROP class. It's nothing, there's not one that's better than the other per se. But what the ROP class does versus like the theory of class is that we have actionable items and practical advice that we use with actual systems that you can take that day and start using, and you have training on it so that you can actually generate income. Because really, that's what you're trying to do. It's not that you just like to do it for the fun of it and you don't want to get paid. You guys want to get paid, I would imagine. We do. We have families we need to take care of. And so that's what our training does, and the YouTube, and that's why we've kind of done the channel like this. So if you are interested, I forgot to mention the Privy on Market stuff. Perfect example. There's trainings that come with it, but there is an on-market offer system that would allow you to start making money very quickly. That's going to be linked in the description below as well. But let's continue on, guys. I've been rambling. I want to make sure I get all the questions answered. So if you have any questions, guys, put it in the comments. Anything at all. Doesn't matter. Anything real estate related. Let's talk about it. And I don't want to go over something that we've already gone over. So let's continue on, because I believe, let's see, a bit confused about properties viewed versus properties I've made an offer on. Yeah, I think we've answered this before, or maybe not. Let's see. So, hello, I'm a bit confused about this is talking about the KPI tracker, which is part of the on-market offer system I just was talking about. But he's asking about properties viewed versus properties I've made an offer on. You mean if I carve out an area in Privy and it says 10 fit my criteria, but after I dive in and see that 6 were worth making an offer on, I'd put those numbers in this tracker. Thanks in advance. Yeah, thanks, Derek. So I may have already answered this before, but I want to, I just talked about the on-market offer system, so I want to answer a question about it. Yeah, so properties viewed is everything that you walk through in an email update or in the list that you've created for the market that you're looking at. You look at 100 properties. Out of that, you're going to soft comp all 100, so you're viewing all 100, but you're only going to put offers on, say, 30 of them. 30 is the ones that you are saying that you made an offer on, okay? And then the third metric that it also tracks is how many of those are accepted. So you can work backwards and say, let's say you've got data for like 3 months, and you say, all right, I've made an offer on 1,500 properties. I've viewed 1,500 properties. I've made offers on, say, 400 of them, and out of those, 20 have been accepted. Okay, so you can work backwards and say, all right, let's do the math, right? Out of 1,500, so that's about 1% of the properties, which, for on-market stuff, it's not too far off. of that. So you're going to say, if I want to do for every, let's say 1,500 divided by 20. Okay, so for every 75 properties I view, I'm going to get one accepted. And so that's kind of what as long as you have data, you can make decisions based off actual data, actual numbers. And you won't just say, oh, I feel like if we put out 150 offers, we'll get one. Like, you can really drill down on that. That's why we provided that in the on-market offer system. Renee, what's up, man? Okay, when building a cash buyers list, should I focus on contacting the buyers directly or starting with the agents that represent buyers? Thanks in advance. Yeah, this is a great question. And you, depending on who you talk to, you're going to get two different answers. What I will tell you is, well, there's a couple things. So I actually like working with the agents. It's easier to get their information because it's right there. A lot of agents have access to multiple buyers. And so you'll open up your Rolodex to buyers, like based off of one conversation. It's a little more efficient, and they'll kind of coordinate the transaction for you, and then you can build that relationship with that agent as well, to represent you on other transactions, be boots on the ground for you. Once they've seen that you've done transactions with their buyers, they'll be more apt to help you in actually getting these deals accepted. So I would say, and what I do is I talk to the agents, get them to connect us, or just kind of help transact the transaction. So that's what we do. The benefits of going directly to the buyer is obviously you don't want to deal with a third party, and you want to deal directly with the buyer, and you want to know who they are and speak directly with them. So that's going to be a pro. If like for other transactions, you can always go directly to them. So there is definitely advantages to going directly to them. Now you will have to, let's say you're using Privy, right? And you're able to get the LLC that purchased that property. Well, it's not going to have the contact information for that buyer readily available. What you'll most likely need to do is build that list of buyers in the markets that you're looking in, and then skip trace those LLCs, and hopefully you get those numbers. The thing with LLCs is they are hard. Any entity really, it's hard to skip trace because there is layers of buffer between the person. That's kind of why they're set up, right? They're between the actual owner and anybody that's looking for them. So it's a little harder to get the contact information, but if you can and you want to go through that, I absolutely would recommend that. I just like working with the agents because it's easier and you have access to more buyers that way. I hope that helped, Renee. Thanks for the question. All right. Yes. Okay. This is good. I don't think we ever answered this before. So, can you help with the formula you're using to determine offer price? Looks like some if-then logic is being used. Thanks, Cheyenne Miles. Appreciate the question. So when this was on the video that Dan put out. So he had basically, in his system, he has set numbers. So there's thresholds that the property will have, the property list price needs to meet, which will then trigger the amount of discount on that property. So for instance, everything $100,000 and below, well, let's say was a $15,000 difference. And then anything over 100 but under 150, there was a $25,000 reduction on list price, and so on and so forth, right? As those thresholds in value were larger, the value, if there's more value, there's a little more that we need to discount to make it a deal. So that was automatically done. And I actually really like that strategy because it keeps everything uniformed. And so, yeah, that's how we are doing things, is that we're just hitting these. Once we see that it's up towards a certain number, 200, 250, 300, a million, like, we're going to be needing to get a bigger discount on market for it to make sense. So that's how we come up with that. Yes. And so there is if then logic. Yeah. If the property is this much, then this much is taken off. If it's this much and it's more, we're taking a little more off. Okay. All right. Let's see here. And you know what? Also, to that point, I want to make one last point here. And actually, we're going to be hopping off because we have hit our 45-minute mark. We really respect your time, guys, and we want to make sure we're staying consistent on getting off at the time. But the last point I want to make on the discount, right, for the MLS, the list price, any of the MLS offers, that can actually be determined by a conversation with the buyer or the buyer's agent. So what I mean by that is if you talk to a buyer and you say, hey, what do I need to bring you these deals at? What type of discount are you looking for on the MLS? Like, if it's 5K under list, are we really going to, are you okay with doing that? Or would you rather see a bigger discount? And that's going to vary buyer to buyer. What I've seen is two sides of the fence. Either they don't care if you bring them a deal, it's a deal no matter what, as long as it's not over list and there's a little bit of a discount, 5, 10K. They don't care. As long as it makes sense for them, they will buy it from you at whatever reasonable number you're talking about. You can make whatever that assignment fee is. The other side of things is there are buyers that are like, I could do this and I could have negotiated it better. I'm going to wait for you to fall out of contract. I'll just keep this one on my ticker, and in 2 weeks, reach out and negotiate them down a little more, and I'm just going to buy it directly from them. Why wouldn't I do that? So you're going to need to have a conversation with your buyers to determine, what their preference is, because it's a preference thing. So that's the best thing I can tell you is just go straight to the source, talk to them. All right, guys. Well, that is it for me. I'm going to cut it off here, 2 minutes over. I appreciate you guys hopping on. If you have any questions, again, put them in the comments for those watching after the live. Anything that you guys ask, we will answer on another video. And we appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And the reason why it helps us out is because that's going to tell the algorithm that we're putting out good content. So if we're putting out good content, please help us out, and that'll allow us to continue doing that for you guys. And then again, you can schedule some time on our Calendly. We do have different offerings for our on-market system, for the launch control setups, for the forefront setups. So you guys hop on if you guys want. We will help you get set up and just get you hitting the ground running, getting deals right out of the gate. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great Friday, good weekend, and